you check the children. Show a little match sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes. That is what
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Happy Mother's Day, everyone. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Morgan.
And welcome to the Horror Show. We are here to deliver a review that is weirdly both appropriate and inappropriate to release on Mother's Day. But yeah, this is a movie that has been getting a lot of buzz within the horror community. And we'll get into the story of it, but we're here to talk about The Coffee Table, you guys. This is a Spanish horror film that goes into a really, really dark place, and it stays there for most of the film, and it actually plays in it a little bit with some super, super dark comedy. And yeah, we're here to give our thoughts on it, and I'm going to start by saying that I'm glad I watched it. I don't think I'll ever watch it again, but I am glad I saw it just from the horror fans' perspective. But it definitely was a tough one for me. I had a really emotional reaction at a couple of parts in particular, and so yeah, it was very, very heavy. I would say if you are a parent and bothered by stuff, you might very much want to avoid this. But I won't say anything beyond that. And we will avoid spoiling the film, but we will give the overall story in just a second here. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts. I'm glad I saw it, but it's a really rough sit. What do you think, Morgan?
I'm glad I watched it because he brought it to me, and I looked it up, obviously, and when I saw that it was a horror comedy, I was like, again, why are you doing this to me? And he was like, no, I promise it's not like that. And I was like, I don't know if I trust you. It was not what I was expecting. So, yes, the comedy is very, very, very dark. So it's right in my wheelhouse. It was actually perfect. So,
So overall, you enjoyed it?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Well, there you go, guys. I mean, yeah, it's the kind of movie. It's weird. I don't want to make this comparison, but it is the closest thing that I've experienced, and that was when Fuego and I finally sat down and watched a Serbian film. Apparently, we did not watch the one with the super graphic scene. I guess there's two versions of it, so we must have lucked out. But overall, as much as I had heard about the film, it was a really well-made movie, as disturbing as the subject matter was. And that's the same with this. It's a very well-made movie with very disturbing subject matter. And the long and short of it is a couple that have just had a newborn baby decide to shop for a new piece of furniture for their apartment, and the husband very much wants a particular coffee table, even though the wife is not a fan of it. And so the coffee table ends up going home, and the rest of the movie ensues from there. And again, saying anything beyond that would do the film a disservice.
Right.
It really would.
Definitely.
So yeah, let's talk about the acting, since we can't talk. Well, I mean, we can say how we felt about how the story played out without telling what the story is. So I will say that the story played out disturbingly, but it was an exercise in waiting for the other shoe to drop. And so it's tense the whole time because you're just waiting for, something to happen. And once you watch the movie, you know what you're waiting for, because it's what one of the main characters has been trying to make sure doesn't happen. No, I'm not spoiling. But yeah, so that's as much as I can say. But I did enjoy how the story played out because it was very tense.
Mm-hmm. Well, as a totally different, it was kind of embarrassing watching with you because you were very emotional and I was very not. But there were a couple points in time where I actually laughed. But I feel like a lot of the comedy hit like after I ruminated on it for a while, because like I was there's kind of two lines running at two trains running at the very same time. And it's the same story, but kind of just on one side and the other side. And so there's a lot of stuff that's ironically funny, I guess.
Yeah.
And so because I was kind of focused on this other train and just thinking about how that would feel, then it just didn't, like, I registered that it was funny, but I was just like, dang, that sucks. And then, like, afterward, I was able to, like, really laugh at that, because I was like, yeah, that's really funny. So,
well, and some of the dialogue is just super dark dialogue that it takes you a second. You're like, oh, jeez. But it's an experience at the very least. Like, if you're a hardcore horror fan, I would say it's worth your time to watch this movie at least once.
I highly recommend it. I will watch it again for sure.
I mean, you know, it's weird. It's one of those things that I don't fancy watching again, but I would, and I do kind of want to have it in the library, just because it's one of those movies that you don't experience feelings like that often when you're watching stuff.
Oh,
and
I
that's
would put
what's
it in my
that's
trophy
what
case for sure.
that's what's
for sure.
you know, yeah, that's what movies
one.
are for, as far as, you know, trying to elicit a reaction from you. And
It's been
damn,
a minute
did this
before.
one do so?
Yeah, it's been a minute since, for like the darker side horror fans, it's been a minute, guys, since there's been something like this released. So it's definitely, if you have the stomach for the really disturbing horror, go watch this movie.
Yeah. Moving on to the acting, it was
Amazing.
It was heartbreaking. It was disturbing. It was funny.
Extremely
you know,
realistic.
Yeah, it's
Extreme, like hyper realistic. Not hyper, but just it felt like watching a completely natural, like if you were sitting in the room with regular people.
Yeah. Everyone was excellent. Yeah, there was no weak links in this film as far as acting goes. Filmmaking wise, it was very well done, especially like the crucial moment. It's filmed in such an, like, I was like, are they really gonna do this? Because you know, I will say that, you know, just in full transparency, when I heard about this movie on TikTok for the first time, people were saying it's so disturbing and oh my god, and it's like been blown over the top. And I was like, okay, I am going to, because I don't normally watch the really disturbing stuff, you know. It's just not what I seek out. But I decided to look up what happened in the movie. And so I actually knew what was going to happen before I watched the movie. And it still wrecked me. And but a lot of that is because of how it's presented, filmmaking wise, acting wise, and everything. And the filmmaking, again, for the crucial moment was done. I knew what was coming, but when it started to happen, I was like, are they really going to do it like this? And then it played out, and I was like, damn, that's super interesting that they chose to do it this way, and the reveal and everything like that. And it's just, the filmmaking was really on point. There's kind of a telltale heart aspect to it when you think about it, right? Something that's one person is very much aware of, and other people are not, and that thing is just kind of looming over the movie, and it's so fucked up. It's so fucked up, but it's handled so well, and the end is darkly appropriately fitting, and even the very last shot like brought me to tears again, because I was like, I even said, like, we were at the end and I was like, and that's the shot they end on, and it just broke me down again. And it's so good. God, it's so weird to say that a movie that is so disturbing is so good, because it really is, if you can handle the subject matter and not let it really affect you. I was, after
Even
watching
when it does affect you.
That's the thing. After watching it, I was legitimately concerned that I was going to have a nightmare and personalize that nightmare to what happened in the movie. And I was very scared about that, because if I woke up from a nightmare like that, I couldn't even, I don't know what I'd do, because it's imagery that I don't want in my head in any way, shape, or form. But I have to acknowledge that it was a very well presented, well made, well acted film. I mean, it just really was. Yeah. Sorry, I've been talking a lot, so
no,
please
okay.
jump in and give your 5 cents.
I don't know what to say without like spoiling it, but it was good. There were lots of working parts. And every time the story progresses, there's like a little more added to it. So, like you said, with the tension, because there's just there's this piece, and you're like, oh, okay, well, how are we gonna deal with this? Oh, we're doing this. Okay, well,
And then new
now
characters,
there's this
yeah.
that comes in, and you're like, oh, well, how are we? Wait a second, and then we're gonna add this in, and then we're gonna put this on the top, and then we're gonna wrap it in this, and you're just like, okay, whoa, like there's so much to it, and yeah, it's definitely emotional. I'm not gonna say it's like I'm such a jerk. I'm not gonna say it's not emotional. I mean, it didn't upset me, but I found it very fascinating. It was just, I definitely had like, my brain was spinning after the movie thinking about like, if it had gone a little bit differently, one like this way or that way, or like how the story would have shifted. Like, because any little thing could have made like,
Could have sent the movie in a different direction.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, and if this was real life and this happened, but it didn't end this way, like what would happen then, like in real life? I don't know. It was fun for my brain to chew on, like the reality.
Well, and I am glad that you enjoyed it, because I had a feeling when I was like,
so
there's
scared.
this movie I've heard of.
I was so
There's
scared.
this movie I've heard of that I think is up your alley, because she likes the extreme horror stuff, and I was like, I know what's going to happen. I'm not going to tell you. And then she threw out her thoughts at the very beginning, and I was like, what? You're disturbed. Knowing in my head, I'm like, she's really close though. So yeah.
Yeah, you did. You made a big. What? Why would you go there?
Well, I had to throw you off. Like, what am I gonna say? You know, like I'm not. So yeah, guys. All in all, I mean, sound design. That's a part of it too. Obviously,
Amazing.
filmmaking, sound design was incredible. If
Lighting,
there was
fantastic.
a score, I don't remember it. Like, I think this movie did a lot more letting you sit in the nastiness of the
Yes.
scene than having score try and augment or push you away or another of how to feel. You know what I mean?
I don't remember.
I don't remember a
any
lot of
sort
score.
I mean, probably when the movie started,
Mm-hmm.
and after the credits were rolling, but it wasn't right away. It was like, I want to say there was like a quietness, and then maybe something kind of came in after. So maybe there was.
Either the score was minimalistic,
Wait.
or we're just so involved in what was on screen that we weren't noticing the score that much.
I could swear there was like a little lullaby song that would like kind of play here and there,
There might have been.
like a
I'm not
little,
sure.
like almost music boxy.
I can't remember.
I think
honestly.
so. I think there were a couple times where there was like a little. I think I remember that,
Okay.
but it's not. It's not like a musical. Like, never mind. That was dumb. Just cut that out.
So yeah, guys, I think we'll go ahead and end it there. Make sure, if you think you can handle, you know, an extreme horror movie, because I would classify it as that, but it's not. It doesn't revel in gore and stuff like that. There is gore, but it doesn't revel in it. It's not that kind of extreme horror. It's the subject
It's
matter.
emotionally heavy.
Emotional,
It's not,
yeah,
It's
for sure.
a psychological movie through and through, which is
sure.
why I loved it so much.
So make sure, if you can handle that, take the time to watch it at least once. This is not a movie for teens or younger by any
No.
stretch. And so definitely avoid that, but show your, like, this might be an interesting experience if you and your buddies come over and have a few drinks and sit down and watch it and just experience it together and just be like, what the fuck? Like, it could be one of those kinds of things. Like, I could see me as if I was 15 now instead of 15 when I was 15, you know, when we were watching Texas Chainsaw 2, you know, illicitly and shit, and like, we definitely weren't supposed to be watching that, but, well, maybe I was 12 at the time, but nonetheless, this is the kind of thing that maybe I would watch, you know, with my friends and be like, can you believe they made this movie? Oh my God, you know, that kind of thing.
Maybe.
So anyway, it's one that is, it's worth experiencing if you can handle it at least once.
If
So.
you watch it, let us know in the comments what you think about
Yeah.
it.
Don't spoil it, though. Try not to spoil it for the people that haven't seen it in case they read the comments. So thank you guys very much for watching again. Happy Mother's Day. More of a Father's Day movie, really, but it works
It works
both
for
ways.
Mother's Day, too.
Yeah, because she gets a present. So yeah. Thanks very much for watching, you guys. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
I'm Morgan.
Thanks very much to our patrons for supporting the channel the way that you do. And until next time, remember, stay
Stay
scared.
scared.